Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to a brand new stream on this beautiful, wonderful evening, man. As you can see in the thumbnail and the title, yeah, we're gonna look at a Piers Morgan video and react and go over his video. Piers Morgan talks a lot of politics, but actually, I kind of like his content. He gets people to, he gets opposite sides, and they basically go at it, which is great content. It's made for people to watch. His content is very intriguing to watch because he gets basically both sides. Regardless who is right, he's in the middle, but he gets opposite sides of an argument, and they just go at it together on his platform, which is good. And he wrecks in millions upon millions of views. So his platform is very successful and good for Piers Morgan. Very good, and I think it's a great concept. His whole platform, to me, I think is a actually incredible concept. And if one day I could figure out how to bring people in to my streams where we could have discussions, I think that would be great. I've been looking into it. I'll be honest with you, I've been looking into it, like, how do I include other people into my streams? And because people like watching, like having a discussion, people like seeing a discussion, people like watching discussions, regardless if the discussion gets heated or not. People like watching actually a discussion about whatever the topic could be, whatever it could be the topic. But people just like, for some reason, people like watching stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's interesting to watch two people from the opposite side of an issue talk about that issue. So I think his concept is great. But yeah, we're gonna look at his concept tonight, and he's talking about what he always talks. He talks a lot about Israel as well. But I don't think he's not one of those. He's not no Candace Owens. No, he's neutral. He just says stuff here and there, but he brings other peoples on his platform who oppose Israel. So he's amazing, and he stays neutral. But yeah, man, listen, guys, we're gonna get into this video, man. Welcome back to the live stream with your boy Lannie, man. I appreciate you guys' time, guys. Let's get right into this video. Let's go. Yep. We back, guys. We back tonight, man. I hope you guys had a great day. Whatever you guys was involved in today, I hope everything went fine. Whatever was your intentions today, I hope everything went perfectly fine for you, your friends, your families, your neighbors. I hope everybody had a great day with the help of God, of course. Absolutely, with the help of God. Without God, nothing is possible in our lives, ladies and gentlemen. Always think about that every single day. Whatever you're doing, always make God a part of your decision making, because I promise you, things will get better for you when you include God in your decisions, and when you include God in your life in general. Things will get better. Yes, guys, so let's get right into the video, man. Piers Morgan, his latest video with a professor, a college professor, speaking on the historical, I'm going to say historical peace agreement that Mr. President Trump and his administration and a couple of other world leaders that he include in basically involved. We got a couple of other world leaders involved into coming up with this, with this incredible ceasefire and incredible peace deal at the end of the day. So, a lot of people already reunited with their families, and people, unfortunately, who lost their lives in this ridiculous amount of violence over the past 2 years that's been going on. So once again, to Mr. Donald J. Trump, man, salute to you and everybody else that was involved in this situation. And incredibly, we have a whole bunch of actual politicians that opposes Mr. Trump's views that actually came out in support of the historical thing that just passed. So it's a huge thing for a lot of people. It's huge, and what Mr. Trump and his administration and everybody else that came together to actually make this become a reality, I think, man, listen, God bless him, man. Because, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I don't care whose sides you pick, what side you pick in life, or whatever the situation might be. You could be in blue state, red state, green state, white state, whatever it might be, man. At the end of the day, it all comes down to we are all God kids. No matter what side of the world that we're living in, no matter what religion, no matter what, our nationalities, no matter what language we speak, bro, we're all God kids, bro. So when violence is going on across the world, at the end of the day, it's still innocent people, it's still God kids that's unfortunately losing their lives every single day. So I'm going to continue saying historical, because that peace agreement Mr. Trump and his administration and every other world leader helped to come up with is brilliant. It's brilliant, dude. So many people you see reuniting with their families. You know what I mean? That they haven't seen their families in years, been living in a cage, been living in the bottom of a building, God knows where. Being held hostage for years, for 20-something months. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing for humanity in general. It's a good thing for humanity, and I just hope and pray that, that part of the world, the violence could come to a complete end. And I just hope and pray they could figure it out and just stop the violence. They could live amongst each other and realize that it doesn't have to go down that violent path. It doesn't have to be every time an incident happens, 100 people has to lose their lives. It doesn't have to go down that path. So hopefully, man, the peace agreement lasts for years and years and years and years, and hopefully that part of the world, man, everybody start living in peace and everybody start getting along. Hopefully. You just never know with the way the things turns out in this world these days, bro. You just never know, dude. Because today it might be good, tomorrow something again, and you just never know what the hell is going on. This is something that Mr. Chuck Schumer came out, and as you know, Mr. Chuck Schumer is a very, very, he gives Mr. President Trump a really hard time. He's not a big fan of Mr. Donald J. Trump, but he came out with a statement, and he came out with him, not just him, a whole bunch of other people that oppose President Donald J. Trump, the way he is, and all of, and once again, majority of people who came out there on the Democrat side, which is the blue states, but still, they're in big support of this situation that just took place with the historical peace agreement, and this is Senator Chuck from New York. So, of the tireless hostage family, President Trump has an administration and all who help. President Trump and his administration and all who help make this happen, this moment happen. So he was just saying, he just basically telling Mr. Trump and everybody else who was involved in this historical peace agreement that, good for them and good for everybody that actually helped out and good for everybody that was a part of it. It was a blessing, dude. You even have President Bill Clinton. I haven't seen Mr. Clinton in a long time, but you even have Mr. President Bill Clinton also coming out with a statement, saying congratulations to Mr. Donald J. Trump and everybody else as well, to President Trump and his administration, the Carter government as well. That's also in the Middle East, and other regional actors for keeping everyone engaged until the agreement was reached. So he's just basically saying to President Trump and his administration and everybody else that was involved, thanks for keeping everybody in the know-how. Basically, thanks for keeping people in the know-how with what was going on. And this whole thing played out. And Mr. President Bill Clinton is right. This entire situation played out in front of everybody. So nobody could say that, there was no country that could come forth and say that, oh, we wasn't a part of it. I think Mr. President Trump made every country who wanted to be involved get involved. This was something Mr. President Trump did that a lot of other world leaders got involved and helped the situation out. You know what I mean? And that's good. Because you think about it, dude, from since I was little, you know how many different presidents done tried to broker peace in that part of the world, and always something go back. Like, always something else happen. But now I think it's going to be, at least it's going to last for a long time. In my heart, I think it's going to last for a long time because it's so many other people that's involved. It's so many other world leaders that actually came up front and also helped with the entire situation. So I think it's, it's not just Mr. Trump and his administration. He has a lot of other people around the world, a lot of other world leaders that also stepped up, to helping in this situation, and which is good. And I'm so happy and proud of our president, Mr. Donald J. Trump, dude. I think he's great, dude, in every which way, shape, and form. This is from Miss Hillary Clinton, Mr. President Bill Clinton's wife. She also came out and made a statement just basically thanking the president and everybody else, all the other foreign government, basically. Thanking President Trump and his administration, and as well as the leaders from all around the world, basically. The leaders that help 12-point plan to see the path forward for often calls of the day after. So she's just basically another person that just coming out and giving praise to the president, which is, this is not just praise that it's necessary. I think President Donald J. Trump really deserves to be praised, for that situation. It's not just the Israel situation. It's Mr. President Trump, from since he took office, there is so much other violence that he actually helped out in to bring, to resolve. We forget about the situation with Africa and the Congos. Bro, that's another part of the world. This people was fighting for years. Dude, in that side in Africa. And Mr. President Trump came in and broke a deal with those people as well. So it's not, people just think it's just one incident. Mr. Trump came in the White House and he done resolved a lot of conflicts all around the world, man. So I honestly, from now on forever, always going to have the utmost respect, for Mr. President Trump, because I think what he's doing as a president by bringing the world together and solving and helping out with all the violence that's going on around the world and bringing peace. To me, that's solid. Anybody that could come in a position of power that's willing to help others around the world, to bring peace within the world, to me, that's always a salute. And Mr. President Trump, nobody can take that away from him. From since he's been in the White House, he done brokered peace deals all around the world. Yes, some people might say, oh, he said he was going to get the Russia and Ukraine situation solved within a couple of days. I'm telling you right now, just looking at the disappointment in his eyes, or looking at disappointment when he speak in regards to Russia and Ukraine, you could see Mr. Trump is doing his best to resolve that situation. But that situation, it's a lot of issues with that specific situation. But I'm pretty sure he's doing his best. And that's all you could ask for from anybody in this world. They're doing their best, and that's all you could ever ask for, dude. You can't ask for more. You can't, expect the president to lose sleep. You got to realize Mr. Trump is in his 70s. He's a grown man, so he needs to get his rest. But I think he's doing great. Even the former president, Mr. Joe Biden, came out also giving a statement to President Trump. Even he's giving credit. Look, right here, he wrote also a statement giving credit to Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, which is the president, Mr. President Donald J. Trump, son-in-law, Jared, and the security, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. The president, that's Mr. President Biden, who's coming out And no matter how this a lot of these people are all Democrats, but no matter of the party sides that they're on, they realize this is an historical moment. You know, it's not about let me take politics and make this into a politics situation. No, because Mr. Joe Biden also tried to broker a deal, to broker a peace deal with those countries for years. Even when before Mr. Biden became president, remember he was vice president for 8 years. So Mr. Joe Biden been in politics for years, for almost 70, 80 years. Mr. Joe Biden been in politics for years. I say 50, 60 years because he's in his 80s. So he probably got in politics, I say in his 20s. I really haven't looked it up, but Mr. Joe Biden been in politics for years, 50 to 60 years. And he knows firsthand the violence that goes on in that part of the world. For how many years, for how many decades it's been violence. So he knows that even when he was vice president and when he was president, he tried to help out to bring peace to that part of the world. And he know that this is historical, because what President Donald J. Trump actually accomplished is that Mr. Joe Biden couldn't accomplish it. Mr. Bill Clinton couldn't accomplish it. Mr. George Bush, like I could keep going on. There's so many presidents that tried to accomplish it, but once again, Mr. President Trump did it, and he did it not just he did it with everybody else that that's wanting to be a part of it. He accomplished this mission with a lot of other world leaders involved. A lot of other world leaders had their say so. A lot of other world leaders, there was basically involved in the decision making. There was involved in everything that was happening, which is a plus. So now nobody could say, okay, President Trump, he did something selfishly. No, this was not done selfishly. This was actually done with lots of other countries' involvement. You know what I mean? And that's the most you could ask. Dude. You can't ask for nothing else from Mr. President Donald J. Trump. And forever, I'm always going to be super duper respectful and super duper grateful, because anybody that could help save God's kids around the world, to me, bro, you deserve my utmost respect, and you deserve the world's utmost respect. No matter what anybody might say about Mr. Donald J. Trump, he deserves to be respected at all times for the things that he's accomplishing all around the world. The things not in the United States, he's accomplishing a lot of good things in the United States. He's accomplishing great things in the United States. He's also accomplishing tremendously great things around the world. So you can't take that away from Mr. Trump. And no matter on the right, on the left, in the middle, everybody now is coming out, oh, Israel has so much influence in Mr. Trump's White House. Israel this, Israel that. Israel is influencing Mr. Donald J. Trump's decision. I doubt it, bro. I don't think there is nobody other than God who could seriously tell Mr. Donald J. Trump what to do. I'm serious. I've been looking at Mr. Donald J. Trump since his TV show when he came on The Apprentice. That's a long time I've been looking at. And this man is he's not one of those type of pushover men. He's not the type of guy you're going to push over. So I think he stands his ground. Benjamin Netanyahu is his friend. They have a good friendship. But at the end of the day, I don't think AIPAC or Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu or any Israeli government leaders could tell Mr. Donald J. Trump what to do and when to do and how to do it. A lot of American people, a lot of people with power in the media in the United States have that feeling that Israel government is basically has too much of a hand in the United States decision making with politics. I don't think that's what it is. I honestly don't. I don't think nobody in AIPAC or nobody in the Israel organization is running the White House or running President Trump. Did Mr. President Trump got donation from Jewish donors? Of course. Tell me who presidents hasn't got donations for election, re-election, or running for office from that hasn't got donations from Jewish donors. It's just the way it is. When you're running for office, people give you donations and they expect you to, to do certain things for them. This is politics. It's all politics, dude. People are major. A lot of other presidents done it. But me personally, do I think AIPAC or Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu or anybody from Israel government is controlling Mr. Trump? Heck no. I don't think nobody but God. I don't think nobody but God could tell that man what to do. Honestly, it's his way. That's it. It's his way. He's going to listen to other people, but at the end of the day, his decision is going to be final. I don't think nobody has to influence his decisions. But yes, let's get into this Piers Morgan interview that he had with his professor in regards to all of this thing that I just spoke to you about. And let's get right into this video, ladies and gentlemen. Let's watch it together. Let's watch it all together, guys.
It feels like a day of history today. What is your assessment of the ceasefire, of the dramatic release of all remaining living hostages, and of the scenes in the Knesset with President Trump? What is your view of it all?
Well, I could make a number of points. First of all, it's wonderful to see the hostages released for their sake and for their families' sake. And it's wonderful to see the Palestinian prisoners released as well. That is all a net positive. In terms of President Trump and his performance in the Israeli Knesset, it was vintage Trump. He's one of the greatest showmen of all time. His ability to put on a rock and roll show is just not to be underestimated. I don't think there's any other politician in our history.
He's right. He's speaking on when Mr. President Trump actually went to Israel. He went to Israel on Monday, yesterday. Yeah, he went to Israel on Monday in the Israeli parliament building and gave a speech. Like he was welcomed with a standing ovation. Mr. President Trump he knows. Listen, man, this man, he honestly knows how to put on a show. He's a crowd favorite. He's a crowd favorite. You have to remember, he's a very, very smart man. He knows how to put on a show. He's a crowd favorite. People love him. And what he did is historical. You can't take that away from him, dude. What Mr. President Trump accomplished with other world leaders, this accomplishment is going to go down in the history of the United States. This is historical. This is going to be a big part of history lessons 30 years from now, 50 years from now. This is going to be this is going to be in the history of the United States, because this is a huge deal. This is not something that you could just overlook, because there is so many different presidents throughout the United States. So many different presidents that has tried to broker a successful peace agreement in that part of the world. A year they'll broker something within 1 year, back to fighting. But within 2 years, back to fighting. So hopefully this could stand, because I think this really has a chance to really create long-lasting peace in that side of the world. You just never know. But once again, I honestly think this is a huge deal for President Trump and for everybody in the world.
At this point in time, you can operate before an audience as well as he does.
Yeah.
Now, with regard to substance, which is, of course, the key issue, I think that this hostage exchange, this temporary ceasefire and hostage exchange, is definitely a move forward. But the two critical questions on the table are, number one, will you get a permanent ceasefire? Will the ceasefire hold? And then number two, will you get a genuine peace agreement at the end of this entire process? And I think there is zero chance you'll get a peace agreement. And I think the chances that this ceasefire will hold are not good at all.
Why?
Well, the Israelis are bent on destroying Hamas, and more importantly, they're bent
I think honestly, this ceasefire has a chance. This ceasefire has more of a chance to hold, and that's my opinion. For the simple fact that I believe that he has a chance to hold and eventually bring a bigger agreement of peace is because there is a lot of other people that's involved in this agreement at this time. Like before, United States will come up with something and they will go to Israel, and then it would just be America and Israel basically coming up with something for a ceasefire, and hopefully it sticks. But this process was done with so many other country leaders. There is so many other people that's involved in this agreement at this time. So that's the reason I honestly think this has the potential for long-lasting peace in that part of the world. That's my opinion. Because of that reason, because of that general that reason of other world leaders, especially a lot of the leaders from that part of the world, from the Arab countries, a lot of the leaders from the Arab countries is involved in this particular peace agreement. So to me, that's the reason why I think he has like a big chance to go farther and have lasting changes.
Palestinians from Gaza. That's their principal goal. They have not defeated Hamas. And there's no way that they're going to end up disarming and defeating Hamas as a result of this ceasefire. It's just not going to happen, and I can explain why. And furthermore, the Israelis are not going to completely leave Gaza as long as Hamas is not defeated. And given that situation, coupled with the fact that Netanyahu and company are determined to drive the Palestinians out of Gaza, it's only a matter of time, I think, I hope I'm wrong, before the ceasefire breaks down and we're back to conflict. But by the way, Piers, you want to remember,
if the ceasefire if this agreement goes south for whatever reason, I honestly don't think in my lifetime there will ever be any resolved issues in that side of the world. Because if you have so many countries coming together to broker a deal that could be beneficial for everybody, and it doesn't work out, I don't think there is no way other than is either you go or I go. That's the only thing I could think about other than that. Because if this doesn't work, the only thing that's left on the table will be the complete destruction. Once again, I'm not picking sides. This is just how I feel about this issue. If this agreement does not stick, if this agreement does not hold up, if it doesn't stand and stay at serve long-lasting peace, the only thing left on the table is either Hamas destroy Israel completely, or Israel destroy Hamas completely. There is no other option on the table. There is no, and I hope and pray to God it doesn't never come down like that. I hope and pray to God the violence completely stops. But as this man is a professor, he's a professor in conflicts and stuff like that, so he knows what he's talking about. Like, this is what he's been doing for decades of his life. Studying conflicts in different countries, different parts of the world. And his argument is that Israel is gun-hold on basically taking over Gaza. And you guys should know what Gaza is. Gaza is a part of Palestine. Gaza is basically, you could call it like a city, a borough, whatever, part of Palestine, which is a beach area in Palestine. That's right next to Israel. It borders against Israel. So this professor is basically saying that Israel government intentions are to just completely take Gaza. I don't see why would it be beneficial for Israel to take Gaza and control Gaza. It wouldn't be beneficial to them. But the only reason I think that they was speaking about capturing Gaza is to hopefully drive out Hamas from Gaza. That's the only thing I could think about. I don't think Israel literally wants that piece of land to... It's for what? Israel is beautiful, it's big. Why would they need to go... Israel is good. So, with this agreement that was reached between all of the countries involved, including Israel, I don't see why would they go back, why would they backtrack on their word by wanting to see peace. And if you notice, after all the hostage and everything was being returned to the families, there's videos of so many people that was living in Gaza before the war broke out that was actually traveling back to Gaza. And I'm going to show you guys videos of Gaza, how destroyed is Gaza. Like, I was like, how is this people walking back into this place? Like, there's absolutely nothing for you to, there's nothing in the houses. There is nothing for you to go back home to. Like, it's completely destroyed. Like, all the buildings and everything. I'm like, how is this people going home? Going home to what? What is home? Like, I don't get it, dude. Like, it's just super duper crazy. But people are actually walking back, going home, going to where there was, going to where they lived at for years before the violence actually broke out. And I just hope and pray, bro, for everybody involved, because no matter who you are, dude, you got kids, bro. Simple and plain, dude. I'm gonna show you guys exactly, bro, how people are going back, saying they're going back home. Like, how are you going back home? Going back home to what? Going back home to what is home? You know what I mean? Like, this is destroyed on every level. Look at this.
Since yesterday, the UN estimates nearly 200,000 people have been on the move, leaving the encampments in the far south, where they fled Israel's latest advance on Gaza City, desperate to return to their neighborhoods, their communities, the familiar. Now suddenly, anything but that.
We can't even tell where the roads used to be. Show it with your camera. We can't recognise the roads anymore. This isn't a life to be lived, to come back hoping to find a...
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, you look at the destruction in that part of Palestine, in Gaza. You look at the destruction, I'm like, you're seeing people actually walking from whatever encampment there was in throughout the entire process of the violence. Now they're walking back into Gaza, and I'm like, walking back into what? Just look for yourself, dude. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at this. This is just complete destruction on every level. This is complete destruction, dude. There's no other way you could put this, dude.
Can you call this homecoming? What word is there for it when home has been turned to this? Since yesterday, the UN estimates nearly 200,000 people have been on the move, leaving the encampments in the far south, where they fled Israel's latest advance on Gaza City, desperate to return to their neighborhoods, their communities, the familiar. Now suddenly, anything but that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, I don't get it. Honestly, don't get it, man. But what are you going back to? This place needs to be rebuilt. That's why I never understood like wars and violence and stuff like, because now, right, after all this violence happened for over 27 months, all of this, the entire neighborhood, the entire city of Gaza bombed out. Hospitals, once you can't live in a place like that. There is no hospitals. There is no schools. Everything was bombed out. So what are you seriously going back to? Like, what is there to go back to? That's my whole thing. I don't see, how are you going back? What are you going back to? There is nothing to go back to, dude. At this time, it's like, it's so much destruction, so much things is chaos. Everywhere you look is chaos in that place. So I'm like, how is people going home? And you see so many people traveling, and the United Nations estimated over 200,000 people are on the move traveling back to Gaza. So that's what I'm like, as the professor said, he doesn't think that the ceasefire is going to lead into nothing positive. The professor, this is who's speaking to Piers Morgan, and he's like, he doesn't really think Israel is but Israel backtrack on their word right now. There is over 200,000 people that's going back to Gaza right now. So if Israel backtrack and then start what again? A bombing campaign on Gaza to get everybody out again? It's just a lot. That's why I'm thinking, like, this is an agreement that is supposed to last. This is an agreement that is meant to last, because I don't think they will reach that agreement knowing that the people who was displaced for over this 20-something months of the violence, just going back home. Everybody's going back to some place, to the neighborhood where they was living for years. Where are you going to live at? The buildings are bombed out. There is no schools. There is no hospital. There is no doctors. There is no road. All the roads are covered. Well, there's still roads. As you can tell, the last clip I just showed you, people are driving through, but majority of the roads are blanketed with bricks from buildings. Like, what are you going back home to? Over 200,000 people. What are you going back home to? Is there running water? Is there electricity? Like, all of those things to sustain good living. Where is the electricity coming from? Where is the water source coming from? Where is, like, the sleeping conditions coming from? Like, how is that possible? Like, I don't get it. But listen, that's why the reason I'm saying those things is, like, I don't think Israel will backtrack on their word. Because if they would have backtracked on the word, I don't think they would allow the people that was in encampment throughout the 20-something months they was going through the violence. I don't think they would have necessarily let them just go back into Gaza, knowing that they're going to backtrack on the word. But at the same time, yes, you could make an argument, you know what, Israel wanted the hostages, that's like a big thing. They really, really wanted the hostages to reunite with their family. Even the hostages that unfortunately lost their lives, they still wanted them to have their bodies reunite with their family and get a proper burial in Israel. So you could make that argument as well. Like, Israel did all of this stuff to get the hostages back, and then they will go on a campaign against Hamas. But it's not in Israel's best interest. This is better to just live in peace than go out and be extreme with violence. And it's always better to live in peace. And with the couple of people, yes, unfortunately, a couple of people from Israel had lost their life that October 7th. And throughout the 20-something months of the fighting, a couple of Israel soldiers also has lost their lives, fighting for the country and fighting for the cause of Israel. So yes, but you put it for each Israelite that has lost their life. For one Israelite that lost their life, I'm going to say at least 50 Hamas people has lost their lives. For each one of Israel unfortunate people that lost their lives. So if you're looking at it with some like numbers, if you're looking at, okay, was Israel successful at what they set out to accomplish? 100% it was a success. It was a success in every which way, shape, and form. They got the hostages back. Unfortunately, even the ones that passed away, even the ones that got hurt, they got them back. So what now for Israel to continue to fight. It's not in their best interest to continue moving forward with violence. And that's just my opinion. It's not going to be in the best interest. It's better to just the situation cover, just let the situation boil down. Let people go back to live in peace. And if, God forbid, that Hamas group attack in any way, which shape or form, they are going to get plummeted. Because if Hamas go back and attack Israel in any which way, shape, and form, it's not going to be just Israel participating anymore against Hamas. For the 20-something months, it was just Israel against Hamas. But the reason I said that is so many different countries got involved to make sure that stop, to make sure that the violence stop, and to make sure, hopefully, long-lasting peace between Israel, Hamas, Palestine could, to long-lasting peace could be accomplished. So I don't think Hamas and the people that's behind that organization is just gun-ho on like, okay, we still got to get people from Israel. We still have to go back and do this and do that. Because any violence coming from Hamas towards Israel and the people of Israel is going to be 100 times worse for Hamas. Because you're going to have other countries now getting involved to completely eliminate Hamas. Hamas never had any type of conflict with the United States or with any other country. They just had conflict with Israel. So my whole thing is, after this deal is brokered, Israel has nothing to gain to keep fighting Hamas, and Hamas got everything to gain to stop fighting Israel. Hamas has everything to gain. They go someplace and live their life and whatever, do what they got to do. Palestine gets rebuilt, Gaza gets rebuilt, people gets happy again. They has everything to basically gain for stopping the violence. That's my whole thing on that. I don't think either side wants violence. Israel has nothing to gain. Hamas has everything to gain when they stop the fight. So it's a win-win for both sides. That's how I look at it, dude. It's a win-win for both sides. At the end of the day, everybody win, everybody live life.
Palestinians out of Gaza. It's only a matter of time, I think. I hope I'm wrong. I think before the ceasefire breaks down and we're back to conflict. Well, by the way, Piers, you want to remember.
Can you believe that this guy in this picture is me? I didn't realize how bad my hair loss was until I seen the trend. And
this professor is just gun hole. He thinks Israel is going to go right back to violence. I honestly don't think so, though. I don't think Israel is going to go back to no type of problems.
That ceasefire lasted until March 18th when the Israelis broke it. But over the course of that ceasefire, the January to March 2025 ceasefire, 33 Israeli prisoners were released and 5 Thai prisoners were released. So we have a precedent here. But the fact is, after this earlier hostage exchange, it broke down, the ceasefire broke down, and you were back to the genocide. And my great fear is that that's what will happen this time.
The thing that I was most concerned about in the last few months was the increasing rhetoric from the likes of Smodrich and Ben-Gvir in the Israeli government, the hard right element of that government, where they were talking in the most brazen way about ethnic cleansing, when they were making it crystal clear that they now saw the mission as kicking Palestinians out, cleansing Gaza, as they put it, and taking that land, which they believed is, their religious right. But what's interesting to me is today, coupled with all the scenes of hostages going home and Trump and the Knesset and so on, you also saw thousands of Palestinians going back into where their remains of their homes are to try and start rebuilding their lives. That is not consistent with my fear that Israel was really plotting to expel them all and keep them out. Are you not encouraged by the scenes of so many?
That's exactly how I feel as well. Exactly what Piers Morgan just said. That's how I feel. And I just said that to you guys. Based on what I'm seeing as well as exactly what Piers Morgan said he seed, like what he's seen as well. There is no way Israel will allow the Palestinian people, over 200,000 Palestinian people that was displaced, that was put and placed in camps and stuff away from the violence, living in camps with their families, with kids and stuff for months. There is no way that if they're going to back step on their word, that they would let over 200,000 people go back into Gaza. If they truly wanted, if they truly was standing talking about they want to clean out Gaza and basically take that land, make that land become Israel. If they truly wanted to stand on those words, I don't think they would allow over 200,000 people from different camps to just go back, because that wasn't a part of the agreement. The agreement was basically get the prisoners out, all the prisoners that Israel was holding, get the hostages back for the prisoners. That was phase one. Get to swap the prisoners with the hostages, and after that they go to phase two and phase three and whatever other phases. But that was not a part of the agreement with the people from Palestine, from Gaza, that was displaced throughout the 20-something plus months. They was fighting. That was not part of the agreement for the people that was displaced to all of a sudden to go back into Gaza. The first day of the peace agreement. The first day of the ceasefire, for over 200,000 people to go back into Gaza. That was not part of the agreement, but still, Israel didn't have a problem with it. They allow everybody to get out the encampments. You see, bro, hundreds of thousands of people walking back from the encampment to back into Gaza. When I seen that, I was like, what? That's insane. And you see how beautiful is the little beach area, though. That Gaza place is like really good real estate. Like the beach is right there. Like this people has such it's a beautiful area. That's all just live in peace. This fighters, the people just live in peace. I don't get it. It's a beautiful piece of real estate. The beach is right there. It's beautiful. It's nice weather. Live in peace, dude. I don't know why Hamas and the people that's supporting Hamas is like gun-ho on keeping the violence going. For what? Live in peace. Rebuild the schools, rebuild the hospital. All of those tunnels, when they're building again, all those stuff need to be eliminated. The violence need to stop, because Israel has to keep in consideration as well. Whenever they decide, Hamas or whomever decide to rebuild Gaza, all of the tunnels that they had all of the tunnel Hamas had built in the bottom of those buildings when they was doing constructions. They did it for a reason, knowing that they did it for future violence. So Israel has to make sure when the construction starts in Gaza, they have to make sure inspectors are going into those projects, into those construction sites, and making sure there is no tunnels that's being built connecting buildings to buildings. And because the reason I'm saying that, because this building, doing construction with hidden compartments, planning for further violence, that's all that is just preparing for future violence. This type of stuff has to be completely erased. All of the tunnels in the bottom of buildings and all of that stuff has to stop, because if they allow the constructions to be rebuilt, and all those tunnels in the bottom of those buildings, the bottom of hospitals, the bottom of schools, to be reconstructed, is just eventually something going to happen 10 years from now. God forbid. I don't hope nothing never happen ever again. But I'm just saying, if Israel don't pay attention to that part of it in the rebuilding process, to make sure that they send inspectors in there, they're gonna have in the deal, they're gonna have like a special different people from different countries basically overseeing the whole Gaza stuff. So they have to make sure all of the constructions that's being rebuilt, the tunnels and the hidden compartments and all of that stuff has to be completely eliminated. All of those things has to stop, because if they rebuild that as well, it's just for future violence. There's no other way to put it. If you're rebuilding a bomb shelter in the bottom of a hospital, For what? You're planning for future escalation of violence. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. But if you're truly building buildings on foundations without any hidden compartment, you know, okay, you know what? Now we're doing something that could go towards long-lasting future. You know, so now we're doing something that could actually sustain peace between everybody in that region. Syria was just, you know, Syria was under dictated, what do you say that word, being ran by the dictators for centuries, for years and years and years. And Syria now is a free country. And hopefully that's another country that I hope and pray the violence never return. I hope and pray, you know, with the new president of Syria, I hope, you know, that president could work with every other presidents all around the world and make Syria a great country. You know, like all of those countries are known for too much violence. You know, I just hope and pray that the new president of Syria and everybody else that's involved in his administration could realize that there was just so much violence, too many death on that land of Syria. And it's big. Syria is big. So rebuild, but rebuild in the right way. Rebuild with structures that will not get back down that path. You know, rebuild, but rebuild in a way that we don't never have to go back to that life. We're going to rebuild, but we're going to rebuild moving forward. We're going to rebuild having intentions that we could open up for tourists to come to Syria. We could have a booming tourist industry in Syria. You know, we could have people from all around the world coming to visit Syria. You know, that's the type of attitude and mentality you have to rebuild with. Whatever the past is the past. The violence is, listen, it's going to go down in history of part of your country, but still, we don't have to live in the past. We could always live going into the future. You know what I mean? And I just brought up Syria because, you know, since the new president took office in Syria, yes, there's been a little bit of violence here and there, but for the most part, the people of Syria and the government of Syria is actually working together for the most part. You have to realize this is all brand new, you know, for Syria, for the people of Syria to actually wake up and live in it, to be living in peace, to not live in fear, to be able to speak and say what's on their mind. It's a free country now. To not having to be worried about if they say something about a government member, they're going to be prison or put in jail for the rest of their lives. So it's different. And everything that's different, whenever difference comes in our lives, it takes a little while for us to adjust to something that's different. So I hope and pray for the people of Syria that they work with the government and, you know, they help together, they come together and they rebuild moving forward in a positive way and leave the past in the past. Hopefully, in Palestine, the same thing. Hopefully when they rebuild Gaza, they will rebuild it. They will rebuild Gaza moving forward, knowing that, you know what, all of the death that happened on this land, let's leave it in the past. Let's rebuild Gaza and let's bless Gaza. Let's bless Gaza with the strength of God so we can move forward doing what's right for our neighbors, for everybody in our country. That's the only how, though. You can't move forward thinking in the past. You can be, and the reason I'm saying that a lot of people, there's so many violence that's been going on in Gaza and Israel for so many years, with Hamas and Israel for so many years. So it's so many family members that has lost their lives fighting on both sides. So it's the hatred is there. The hatred is there, but they have to realize this stuff has to stay in the past. You can't take this type of hatred You can't take this type of hatred that's inside of you because of what happened a month ago, a year ago, 2 weeks ago. You can't move forward with that type of hatred because the hatred mentality brings and make people do hatred stuff. That's just how it is. So everybody on both sides need to realize, like, listen, the past is the past. Let's move forward with respect. Let's move forward with love. Let's move forward with the understanding that we are going to be neighbors from now on forever. They're going to be neighbors forever. Israel and Gaza, they're going to be neighbors forever. So let's move on, knowing that we're going to be neighbors. We have to have some form of respect for each other. We have to build some form of relationship with each other. That's the only way. The past is the past, and God willing, let's move forward into the right direction that we could all live in peace. That we don't have to be worried about in a month from now somebody's going to be coming over our border with a bomb trying to kill our people, or vice versa. You know, I think that's all it is, man. Everybody should just live in peace, agree upon things that, let's just have a good life, bro.
To where their homeland was?
It's hard not to feel good about seeing the Palestinians return to their homes. It warms the cockles of my heart, although it's terribly depressing to see what's happened to their homes. But the more important question, Piers, is what is the political settlement here? There are two big questions. Who is going to run Gaza? In other words, is there going to be Palestinian self-determination? Are the Palestinians going to run Gaza? That's number one. And then number two, what is the political horizon? What is the end game here? And with regard to the question of who is going to run Gaza now, it's not going to be the Palestinians. It's going to be President Trump and apparently Tony Blair, and some of the Arab armies in the neighborhood are going to provide security. But the Palestinians are not going to have self-determination here. They're not going to run Gaza. And then, more importantly, in terms of the long term, there's not going to be any two-state solution. There's no political solution here. So
I think that's for now. The statement the professor just made that the Palestinian people is not going to have a say-so in Gaza, I think that's eventually that door will be open. But for now, that door is closed for now, because just based on the history between Gaza, the people of Gaza and Israel, just based on the history, for now that door has to stay closed. I completely get what the professor is saying, that Palestine, the people of Palestine should get and have a say-so in what goes on in Gaza. 100%, he's right. Because that's their country, that's their land. They should have a say-so in what is taking place. They should be a part of the discussion. But at the same time, when Israel was living in peace before October 7th, Hamas was running Gaza. Hamas was running that part of Palestine. And the conflict was constantly. Every week, every other week, you're hearing somebody getting killed over the border. Somebody's trying to come into you. Every week, you're hearing something bad happening. You know, so I think for now, because this is all brand new, the Palestinian people, eventually that door will be open for them to be involved and get a seat at the table where they have an opinion in decisions that's going to be made with Gaza. They're going to have a say-so with whatever decision comes out of Gaza. They will have a part of that say-so. They will be a part of the agenda. But for now, I think the way it's designed for President of the United States, the former Prime Minister of England, like I think, and other people in the Middle East, other powerful governments in the Middle East, you know, that's going to take control for now. Just for now, just to let everything cool down. You know, let things cool down. Once again, I understand the professor's side, what he's saying, but at the same time, I think just things are just too uncertain right now. Everybody that's involved want a long-lasting peace agreement in that part in Gaza, with Hamas and Israel. Everybody that's involved wants to see peace. So I think the only how to see peace at the beginning of this stage, at the beginning of this stuff, is to let them do what they're currently doing. To let them actually govern the way that they set it up to govern, and eventually open that door for the people of for the people of Palestine to get a seat at a table, and eventually, little by little, the decision will be made on who to place in what position. I think eventually that opportunity will happen for the people of Palestine, but for now, I honestly think that the door is closed and they should leave it closed.
workmanagement.com, the opposite of any work platform.
They should leave it closed because it's not
One
worth.
of the work management platforms.
It's honestly not
Find
worth
names.
putting any Palestinian people in charge of that part of Palestine. Yes, it's Palestine owned that area. That's their land. Yes, you could argue that a million times. That's their land. They should have a say so. Yes, but every time, for over decades and decades and decades, the people of Palestine control and have a say so in Gaza. It always creates conflict between Hamas and Israel, between the people of Gaza and Israel. So that change right there, that change that was made with having a community, with just having a board of people from the outside coming in to just keep peace for now and eventually reopen the door for the people of Palestine. Eventually reopen that door, but for now I think it's a great idea that door stay closed, dude.
Widely shared in Israel. And after what's happened over the past 2 years, do you think any Israeli is going to be interested in a two-state solution? Probably the number you can count on one hand. It's just not going to happen. The Israelis have already de facto annexed Gaza and de facto annexed the West Bank. Their principal goal now is to ethnically cleanse the Palestinians out of those two areas. The idea of ethnically cleansing Greater Israel has been wired into Zionism from the very beginning. This is why you had massive ethnic cleansing in 1948 and 1967. And here, after 2023, you had a big war, and the Israelis always see big wars as an opportunity to ethnically cleanse, and that's what they are trying to do.
Okay, but there are two things I would say about that which may counter that rather doom-laden narrative. One is President Trump, who has set his stall and his reputation and his legacy on this being a lasting peace. This is, by his own admission on the plane Air Force One last night, this is the biggest moment of his life that's unfurling here, and I think he is determined to try and bring lasting peace, and he is key to Israel's ability to continue prosecuting a war against Hamas or to ethnically cleanse the Palestinians. He's made it clear there can be no annexing of the West Bank. The Palestinians must be allowed to return home. So I'm encouraged by that. And the secondary issue, which is more of an economic issue, which is that before October the 7th, Saudi Arabia was making a lot of signals that they wanted to join the Abraham Accords, which would have a very significant financial, economic benefit for Israel if that happened. And that's been put on hold for this war. But, you know, the signals again coming from Saudi Arabia.
That's exactly why I said that. Israel has nothing to gain continuing fighting with Hamas. They have nothing to gain. They stop the fight and they're going to gain things that could make the country better, make the country more powerful, make the country more wealthy. So if you have the option, okay, let me keep fighting, more of my people are going to eventually get killed. Yes, for each one of my person getting killed, yes, I'm killing 50 to 100 of their people, but regardless, my people are still dying. So if you're smart and you're a business-minded person, you're thinking, okay, you know what? This fighting really is not going to really help my country or help my people. When you have other countries are willing to bring you into business deals, that's going to better give the people of Israel a better chance to have more financial gain. So why would you not stop fighting and take the opportunity that could make the people of your country better? So that's why I said for earlier, I said to you guys that there is nothing Israel have to gain to keep fighting. But they stop fighting, they have a lot to gain. Hamas, at the end of the day, they stop the fight, they have a whole lot to gain. They have a whole lot to gain because Gaza is going to be rebuilt. Hamas is not going to pay for Gaza. You know, Hamas is not going to put anything in the budget to rebuild Gaza. And nobody in Hamas is going to be on the most wanted list in Israel. Israel is not going to be looking for Hamas members. You know, it's you know what I mean? So it's a win for Hamas. All of the people that's involved in that Hamas group, they don't have to be worrying about, okay, Israel is going to come get them. No, everything is done. So they have a lot to gain as well. A lot of the fighters that was fighting for Hamas, that was captured and arrested by Israel and was being held in Israel jails for all those months, a lot of those people was released back to Hamas. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win. That's why I'm like, I don't think Israel has any intentions of continuing this violence. Because they have nothing to gain continuing this violence. What to get Gaza, take Gaza back, okay, to successfully capture Gaza. Okay, after that, now you have to go rebuild everything on that part of that land. You have to do this, do that, and still Hamas is still alive. The leaders of Hamas was weakened a little bit, but yes, but there still has a huge amount of people that's supporting their cause. So regardless if you capture the entire Gaza, you move Hamas out, regardless, you could move them out, but they still have weapons. They're still in Palestine. They're still in neighboring countries. So at what point does violence stop? That's my whole thing on it. So that's why I honestly, truly believe that Israel is going to honor that agreement. I don't think that it's any need. It's not necessary for Israel to move forward in any way, shape, or form with any type of violence. It's just not necessary for them as a country. It's not worth it, dude.
And if there's peace in Gaza and they can move towards a two-state solution, or at least have the sort of planks for that to go ahead, then they may join the Abraham Accords too, with all the benefit that would come to Israel. So there are two things there which I think would slightly counter your narrative.
Style starts with the details. The difference between mid and next level.
Piers is 100% right, and that's my stance on that as well. That's my stance, dude. Like, Israel has too much to gain, from the world to continue fighting. They have too much to gain from a lot of things for their citizens, for their people. They have too much to gain to keep the violence going. It's just not worth it, dude.
Ethnically cleansing both Gaza and the West Bank. The Israelis now have a situation where there are roughly as many Palestinians as there are Israeli Jews inside of Greater Israel. And this is an unacceptable situation for most Israelis. And they're completely committed to ethnically cleansing Gaza and then the West Bank. I think the evidence is overwhelming on this. Now you say President Trump sees this as a great opportunity to prove that he's a statesman and he can bring peace to the Middle East. I think in principle that he'd love to do that. But I've written a book with Steve Walt on the Israel lobby, and there is absolutely no question in my mind that if President Trump gets rough with Prime Minister Netanyahu, Netanyahu will turn to the lobby, and the lobby will force Trump to back off. There's no way Trump is going to get tough with Netanyahu if he violates the ceasefire. Remember, he did that on March 18th.
But do you not think he's already got tough with him? I think the catalyst for what we've seen today, and I'll follow the last few days, I think the catalyst was Israel's attack on the Hamas negotiating team in Doha, which was unbelievably ill-advised. It was a catastrophic failure. They didn't kill anyone from the Hamas negotiating team. They killed a Qatari security guy and other people unconnected with Hamas. And the opprobrium this brought on Israel from all the leading leaders of the Middle Eastern countries and states around there was tremendous. They all got on the phone to Trump. And then an extraordinary thing happened. Donald Trump made Netanyahu get on the phone and apologize to the Prime Minister of Qatar. Never heard of anything quite like that happening. It was a public humiliation for Netanyahu, and it showed.
That's what I'm saying. Like, listen, I don't want to say something to disrespect the professor's the words that he's speaking, because the professor has a lot of experience in what he's talking about. Like, he knows what he's talking about, but I just think that the professor is just going back years and years and years of all the violence. Yes, all the violence that was happening over the years, and there is different presidents of the United States that got involved and different people got involved. But I think truly The reason this is different is because a lot of times, from since I was little, and there was always conflict in that part of the world, from what I can remember, is that the United States presidents was always willing to work with Israel to solve the problems, but they never had got like other Arab countries involved. They never had got like the support of other Arab countries to actually listen, let's come sit down, all of us sit down together to solve this problem. Because they have, everybody now involved in this situation. So that's why I honestly think like the professor is thinking, okay, you know what? This done happened before. They brokered ceasefires, and Israel went back and broke the ceasefire and continued the violence. And Israel want to basically, his whole thing is Israel want to clean out all the people from Gaza. Israel want to basically cleanse Gaza out. Israel want to get the people from Gaza that's living in Israel. You want to get Israel, the government want to get them out of Israel. No, I don't think, listen, that's in the past. Israel has nothing to gain to keep fighting. They has nothing to gain. They already got back, thank God, they got back the surviving people that was taken. The people that was taken on October 7th. All the hostages was returned. Even the ones that was killed, their body was returned to their families to get proper burial. So there is, what else are they fighting for? For the land of Gaza? What is that going to? It's just not to common sense. It's not worth it for Israel to continue this nonsense. They got back. They got back the people, dead and alive. For one person that got killed on Israel's side, 100 got killed in Gaza. So they won, hands down. So there's no need to continue this. The professor is honestly thinking that this is going to continue. And once again, he know what he's talking about. This professor wrote books on the violence in that part of the world. He's just thinking that Israel will never back down, that not even back down, that Israel is, he's stand that Israel is gun-ho and they're going to continue with the push to completely take Gaza. I don't think that's what Israel truly wants at this point. I think Israel and the government of Israel just want to go back and live in peace. For the past 20-something months, the amount of violence that Israel was involved in is just not necessary. Like, there wasn't stuff in Libya. There wasn't stuff in Qatar. Like, it's just, this is the time when everything, the government of Israel, to me, I think they just want to that's it. We got back our people, dead and alive. We accomplished what we set out to accomplish by retrieving our hostages, by retrieving our people. Everything is said and done at the end of the day. We won. We was victorious. Let's live in peace. Let's figure out a way. That's what I'm thinking. That's my assumption with what would Israel want moving forward. Because I just don't see them continuing the violence. That's not going to benefit them in no way, shape, or form. It's not going to be beneficial to them. So, once again, the professor could be right. I could be wrong. But I'm just going to go with good things. I'm going to go out. I'm going to leave the end of this video on a positive note, because I don't want to think Israel is going to continue this violence. I don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to end this video right now on a positive note. May God bless everybody from Israel. May God bless everybody from Palestine. Ladies and gentlemen, I will believe in God and I will believe in a higher power. Don't make us different. Because at the end of the day, I'm a Christian. I'm a proud Catholic. I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. You could be Muslim. You believe in Allah. That's a higher power. I speak to my God every day as much as I can. Whenever I'm eating, I say thanks to God. I'm drinking water, I say thanks to God. Thanks for the place I'm recording this live stream. Thanks for the car that I get to drive to go, Thanks for the job. I thank God every single day for everything in my life. Thank God every day. Same thing with people that's Muslim. They pray to Allah every day. Same thing with Jews. They pray to God. So at the end of the day, the reason I said that, ladies and gentlemen, we all have a higher power that we believe in. But in reality, that should make us different, because we all pray to a higher power. We're not that much different. We all believe we're being protected by a higher power. We all have that belief in us, that we are protected by a higher power. So for us coming together as God kids, as halal kids, as for us coming together, knowing that we're all family at the end of the day, no matter what religion that we're in, we're all God's kids. We're all family. So for us to live in peace, come together, it's not that hard. We as humans, we make it complicated because we hold resentments, we hold anger, we hold things that in our past that we're like, oh yeah, because of this, because of no. Listen, when you let those things go, you start realizing, damn, it's not that hard for me to recognize people and to love people for who they are. Let's live in peace. Let's live as one. Let's love each other. Let's work together. Let's not base our decision making on our differences. Let's not base our decision making because you're a Muslim and I'm a Christian, I shouldn't like you. You shouldn't be my friend. Let's not base our decision making on stuff like that, based on people's religion, based on people's color of the skin, based on anything that's negative. Let's not base our decision making of each other on our differences. We have to appreciate each other's differences to have a peaceful, safe world for every one of God's kids. That's the only how. We have to truly love and respect each other's differences all around the world for us to actually have a peaceful world. Because if we continue going down the path of, oh, you're Jewish, I'm Muslim, I'm Christian, we shouldn't get along, we shouldn't be living in peace, it's always going to create division with us going forward in the future. There is no other way to solve our problems in this world. There's no other way. The only way is with respect and is with us truly being respectful to each other's differences. It's the only way. It's no other way. It's no other way, man. Money is not going to make it work. I don't care how much money you put up. It's not going to make it work. It comes down to two simple, very simple things that we was all born with, within us. We was all born with respect. We was all born with the ability to give each other love and treat each other with respect. We just have to put it to use. We just have to put it to use to know that we are not all the same. Yes, we have different religions that we appreciate our religion. We appreciate who we pray to. We appreciate God. You're Muslim, you appreciate Allah. That's who we pray to. But we shouldn't be judging each other based on that. We should be working together. Because you different from me, we work together and we figure it out together. We don't have to be the same to love each other. Difference is okay. Difference in opinions are okay. It create a topic of discussion. That's all it is. Difference in opinions create a topic of conversation. So it doesn't have to go down the path of being violence because we have different opinions or different ways about going away, different ways of living our lives. We don't have to go down the path because we have differences. We have to be violent to each other. Ladies and gentlemen, may God bless you guys all God kids around the world. May God bless you guys, all of God kids within the United States. May God bless us all. And once again, to a great United States President or Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Donald J. Trump, sir, salute to you and your family. Before I end these videos, I always like to take the time to show my utmost respect and my gratitude to you, Mr. Donald J. Trump, because what you just did is historical on every level. And honestly, I would like to take the time out as much as I can to tell you how much I appreciate your effort every single day to bring peace throughout the world. Me, as God kid, I appreciate it. I sincerely appreciate your effort every day that you take to bring peace throughout the world. I think you're great. May God bless you at all times. May God watch over you and your families on your trips within the United States and on your trips outside the United States. Always continue to do the work of God, because that's what you're doing. And that's to our President, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Salute to you, sir, wherever you at on this beautiful evening, beautiful night, sir. May God bless you and have a good night, good evening. So everybody all around the world, have a great day, great night, great evening. Depends on where you're watching this live stream. Thanks for your time. I'm very appreciative for your time. Thank you very, very much. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, let's work together. Let's do it together and make this world a better place. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Always make God and his family a part of decision making, and always include God in your decision making every single day. Always include God in your decision making. Always do what's right in the eyes of God and his family. I'll talk to you guys soon with the help of